Good day to you, coders, and thank you for joining us on Project Collaborate. In this video, we'll be discussing the list interface. You're probably wondering, what exactly is the list interface? Well, with the list interface, you're actually able to add and delete values based on their index location, as well as add duplicate values. And you're probably thinking, oh, this sounds similar to an array. Well, it actually is very similar to an array. And so the list interface is actually implemented by 4 different classes. We have the ArrayList class, the LinkedList class, the vector class, and the stack class. So you're probably wondering, what's an ArrayList? Well, an ArrayList is actually a dynamic array, and that means it just adjusts according to the amount of elements. So if you have 4 different elements, then it'll adjust its size according to the amount of elements, so it'll adjust its size to 4. And so it actually does this based on how many elements, and so you don't actually have to define the size beforehand. And so to use an array list, you do ArrayList A equals new ArrayList, or you can do list A equals new ArrayList. What's a linked list? Well, a linked list is very similar to an array list, but it actually has 2 parts, the head and the node. And so to access an element, you must start at the head and go through all of the nodes until you reach the element you're looking for. And so the head is actually the entry point of a linked list, and then the nodes are the dots with the arrows. And so basically in a linked list, all of the elements are linked with like arrows. And so to declare a linked list, you can do linked list L equals new linked list or list L equals new linked list. Now, there's something called a vector, and a vector is essentially an array list, but the main difference is that it's actually synchronized. You're probably wondering, what does synchronized mean? Well, you'll learn more about synchronization when we get to the concurrency unit, and so if you'd like to know more about synchronization, I'd recommend y'all check that out. And so in order to use the vector, you can do vector v equals new vector or list v equals new vector. And finally, we have a stack. And a stack is very similar to all the other lists, but it is based on the LIFO principle. And LIFO means last in, first out. So what this means is the last element you put in is the first element that comes out. So let's say I put in 1, 2, and 10 into a stack. Well, I put in the order of 1 first, 2 second, 10 last. But what comes out first is actually 10 because that's the last one that's in. And so in order to use a stack, you can do list S equals new stack, or you can do stack S equals new stack. So to use the list interface, you'll need to import Java utilities. You can do import java.util.asterisk or import java.util.list, and then you can declare the different classes such as list1 equals new ArrayList, list2 equals new LinkedList, etc. And so one thing you'll want to note is if you decide to import java.util.list, you'll also need to import the class that you use. So let's say I use a stack, then I'll have to import java.util.stack. However, if you do it the first way, then you don't have to worry about that because by doing the asterisk, you have imported all of Java utilities. And so you're probably wondering, why are we using the list interface? Why are we doing list1 equals new ArrayList over something like ArrayList1 equals new ArrayList? Well, the main reason is that let's say you want to use a linked list, but you've already used an array list. Well, by doing it the first way, all you'll need to replace is the array list with linked list. However, if you do it the second way, you'll have to replace both of the array list, but you'll also have to replace all of the incompatible methods with the linked list class. Since the list interface is just a set of methods that's common between all of those classes, you don't have to replace any methods because they're all declared in all of the classes. However, with the ArrayList class, there's methods that may not be declared in the linked list class or vice versa, and therefore you'll need to change those with similar methods that may be found in the linked list or ArrayList class. And with that being said, that's all we have to cover in the list interface video. If you guys have any questions, y'all can leave it down in the comments below or join our Discord server. And with that being said, thank you for watching.